Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we are reviewing the Honda BRV. Being a new viewer, I'd like to ask you to please subscribe to the channel for more videos like this. About 95% of people aren't subscribed to my channel. That's from those that are watching it already. This review is going to be a practicality review, so I'm not going to be going through all the detailed specs. But what I will be giving you is a very practical review of the Honda BRV. I have spent a lot of time in this car. I've driven it for 1,200 kilometers. So I have a very good understanding of how the car goes. Okay, let's get right into the Honda BRV. So who is this Honda BRV targeting? Let's firstly look at the price. This is the only technical spec I'm going to be speaking about. The rest you can have a look at the bottom. I've linked the brochure and you can read all about this car. I'm going to give you a practical review of this car. So it ranges between 380,000. You can get into the initial manual starting range car of 380. And then this one I'm driving today is it's a CVT automatic, 460,000 for the elegance. Now the main difference between the bottom and the top end, like the one I'm driving, is the safety capabilities, which is you get the adaptive cruise control and all the other safety features that come with the car. After taking this car on the long road, right off the bat, it's not the best car for the long road. If you are on a budget, it will do, but there are much more comfortable cars that you can pick, but although it's going to cost you more. Firstly, let's talk about comfort. So I'd say people who are buying this car, it's got 7 seats. It does have a decent boot. You can fit quite a bit of bags. You can fit 7 people in here, but comfort wise, you would not be the most comfortable. At the back 2 seats, you cannot fit adults there. Although you can fit adults, they might not be able to sit properly, but it's more suited for kids. In terms of driving functionality, I mean, it's fine to drive. The steering wheel is a bit on the hard side. The seats are leather, but it's not very comfortable leather. It is also like the steering wheel, it is a bit on the hard side. You don't get very nice back support or lower back support. If you are taking this car on the long road, your back will pain a bit. So normally when you're sitting, then you might have to like what I'm doing now, just adjust your back. So if you are sitting for about an hour or two, you will need to just move a bit. Taking this car on the long road, you will probably have to make more frequent stops, and not because of driver attention might be fading. It'll just purely be to get out of the car, to stretch your legs, stretch your butt, and then get back in, because I wouldn't see anyone being able to drive 4 to 5 hours straight in this car. Okay, not that I do advise. It's very good to take frequent breaks every maybe 2 to 3 hours or 200 to 300 kilometers. Just for comfort purposes, you will need to take a break in the Honda BRV. I did start using the cruise control, the adaptive cruise control. I didn't actually like it that much, and as you know from my previous videos, I am a big fan of cruise control, and if a car does have it, I would more often than not actually always use it. Except in this case, I actually switched it off. I found that if you set the speed on 120 and you are maybe on 90 or 100 and you want to click resume, the car struggles to actually go back to that 120 speed. And I know generally cars would take fuel efficiency into consideration when you are driving, especially on the cruise control. Actually, manufacturers advise that you use cruise control to be more fuel efficient, but I'm not sure in this case on the Honda BRV that putting on cruise control is going to be more fuel efficient. So I actually switched it off after a while, and I was actually more comfortable driving on 120 myself manually as opposed to using the cruise control. While we are on the topic of cruise control, when you're driving on the long road, I had my adaptive cruise control on. You can set your following distance, how far in advance you want the car to slow down. So I set my following distance to the highest number, which was, you could say, about a 3-second following distance. What I did notice was there was a car approaching that I could see wanted to overtake me. What I did was, I was in about 100, so I went over the yellow line, and then, as you know, with adaptive cruise control, it picks up if there's a car in front. So what this car did, I moved off to the left, and then there was no car in front of me, so the adaptive cruise control actually started accelerating to 120. So the car that wanted to pass me, they were accelerating and I was accelerating at the same time. If you are doing this, I would advise put your cruise control off, especially if it's adaptive. If it's not adaptive, it's fine, you can keep it on. Just take note of this, because when you go off the yellow line, it's not going to pick up the car in front of you, then you're automatically going to be accelerating. Honda BRV, it's a budget car, and you can definitely see budget written all over it. It does lack comfort inside. I'd say this car is not suited for the long road. It's more suited for if you have kids going to school, or if you are lifting people. You can use it as a 7-seater with decent boot space, and just as a runaround car, it's fine as long as you're not in this car for very long. Maybe you could, if you are living in Cape Town, you could go to Stellenbosch, Somerset West, Langebaan. It should be fine for those, but the moment you're hitting 2 hours plus, then it might be a bit of an issue. But if you're doing that once in a while, it's okay. But if you want a car for long road trips consistently, then I wouldn't advise a Honda BRV. Unless you are on a budget, then I mean, definitely go for it. But if you can stretch your budget a little bit more, go for something that has a bit more comfort. I'd say the Hyundai Grand Creta is more comfortable. It will be a bit more expensive. Even if you want to use this car as a 5-seat with a bigger boot, rather get a 5-seater car. Another car I did take on a road trip is the Renault Duster. I did quite an extensive review on that. You might want to compare that one if you don't need 7 seats. The Renault Duster does in fact have great boot space. You can watch that review. I will link it at the end of this video. Fuel consumption. So on the long road, on average, my fuel consumption was 6.4 liters. Now, I know the claimed fuel consumption on this car is 6.3. I didn't drive over the speed limit at all. I was always under 120 or at 120. My accelerator was quite flat. I didn't drive a lot of hilly terrain. I'm not sure how they got to 6.3, but I'm assuming there was probably a lot of downhill where you'll need to take your foot off the accelerator, and that'll obviously decrease your fuel consumption. I think going up for maybe the first 600 Ks, I was averaging around 6.5, and then coming back it came down to 6.4. Coming back, there was a lot of times where I was driving on 60, and I drove maybe between 40 kilometers and 60 kilometers per hour for quite a while. The infotainment system, it's fine. I did connect a phone to it. Bluetooth audio did work well. If you want, you can actually play YouTube videos. Well, not videos, but the audio will come through the infotainment system. The sound is okay. It's not the best sound system. It sounds a bit like loudish, but not very clear. So the sound system is not very good. Bear in mind, it's a budget car. I know I keep mentioning this, but it is important. With the Honda BRV, you are paying for what you get. What I'm trying to bring about here is to tell you guys, you know, what I think this car is suited for. So you don't end up, you know, buying a car for the long road. You're looking for something extremely comfortable, with, you know, top-notch features, safety features, the works, and the comfort and the fuel efficiency. I'm telling it to you how it is based on my experience. You might experience something different. How is it to drive? How does the engine feel? So personally, the Honda BRV is a bit on the loud side. It's not the most refined engine, and with that being said, it's not the most comfortable from a driver's point of view. As a driver, you know, when you press the car, you want to feel that you got power. Now this car doesn't have power, so overtaking, you can feel that the car is stretching and the car is, you know, it's struggling. And although you're not even going up a hill, just overtaking on a straight road is you know, bad enough. But when you are overtaking on a bit of an incline, which is not very advisable with this car, you have to have a good following distance, and make sure when you are overtaking, have a look on the oncoming road that there's no cars in quite a big distance, and do not overtake on a barrier line. I didn't do that. I'm just saying, you know, just putting it out there, because we are heading into the festive season and safe driving is really important. So just watch out for the barrier lines. Something that I also want to mention, speaking about safe driving, is, you know, with load shedding happening now at a four-way stop, especially when there's, you know, dual lanes, or not dual lanes, but 2 lanes in the same direction, people actually forget that when a robot's not working, it's a four-way stop. If you stop first, then you have right of way. So please take that into consideration and be considerate. I am going to be releasing a video on safe driving, so keep a lookout for that. If there's anything you want me to discuss in that safe driving video, let me know, and I'll do my best to discuss it. Speaking of safe driving, one aspect I will chat about is tire pressure. Now, the advisable amount of time to check your tire pressure, or the frequency of checking, is once a week. There is a difference when your tire pressure is good. Now with this car, you could feel that something was a bit uneven. There was just something not right. It almost felt that it wasn't you know, sturdy on the road. So I went to the garage and I checked up the tire pressure, the advisable pressure. I think it was 2.2 in the front and 2.1 at the back. Once I did that, it almost felt like I was driving a different car. It made such a big difference. It improved it a bit, noticeably improved, but it still didn't take away the fact that the engine is not refined, and it did make the drive a bit more enjoyable, but like I said, not the most luxurious. All in all, spec wise, you can have a look at the bottom. Click the link below. What I was going for in this review is a pure practical review. You know, sometimes you read a spec sheet and then you expect the car to perform certain, like maybe the car will say it has certain amount of Newton meters, certain amount of power, and then you actually drive the car and the two don't match. So your expectation based on the spec sheet is not what is shown in the drive. So now, after you've watched this review, maybe develop in your mind an expectation of what you think the spec should look like, and then click down below and read the spec sheet, and then come back and comment on this video and let me know, did the practical review that I gave you match the spec sheet of this car? And that'll be a really interesting stat to actually see. So please comment and let me know. Also, with everything that I've stated about this car, do you think that the price justifies the specs that it has, like maybe the lack of luxury, lack of comfort? Is it fine to pay this price between 380 to 460 for this car? Range wise, I mean, it's a BRV, it's quite big. The size of the fuel tank is a bit small for my liking. I think it's 42 liters, and the range you'll get on the long road would be between 500 to 550, just depending on how you drive, which is decent range. But I mean, you know, nowadays you'd like something with a bigger fuel tank. But nevertheless, if you're driving from Cape Town, you'll easily get to Mossel Bay before needing to fill up again. Guys, we are at the end of this video of the Honda BRV practical review. Hope you guys have enjoyed it. If you haven't subscribed by now, please subscribe now. It'll really help with the channel. I'll really appreciate it. Like I said, there will be a safe driving review coming up. Just look out for that one. Put your notifications on. You don't want to miss that, especially if you are going for a road trip. Thanks again for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Maybe you're watching one of those videos that are showing up on screen now. I'll be off now. Bye.